Just curious, how many people have ever heard of Circulate San Diego? That makes sense because you all sign up on our website, so glad to hear that. I don't know how aware you are of our organization, but we came about as a result of a merger of two nonprofits. One was called Walk San Diego, and the other one was called Move San Diego. And Walk, of course, dealt with issues around walkability, and Move San Diego dealt with issues around transit. But we were both dealing with issues around land use because over the years we came to see that land use is such a huge influence as to how well public transportation works and how well walkability works in biking. So as we worked on the issue of land use, we kind of found ourselves in the same meetings arguing for the same thing. So we ended up merging and changing our name to Circulate San Diego, and that happened in 2014. So this event tonight, we're really looking ahead, and this is the second of 5 future of transportation programs we're doing. Others there'll be one more in San Diego, one in South County, one in East County. And so we've got one under our belt, and the conversation from our panelists was fascinating, but I think even more interesting was the back and forth that happened with the audience. So I encourage you, the way this is going to work is Kathleen, our Director of Advocacy, is going to kick things off with some thoughts and then introduce our speakers. Each speaker is going to take about 10 minutes and provide you with their perspective on each of their areas of expertise. But then that's when it really is going to get engaging because you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. And there's been, just in the last one, there's a lot of interesting dialogue. And also, before I forget, I just wanted to thank our sponsors, SDG&E's Power Your Drive program or initiative, and also Transit Center, which is an organization. It's actually based in New York City, but they fund transit advocacy groups such as Circulate San Diego. So some of the funding for this evening is coming to all the way from the East Coast. So thank you to both of those organizations. So again, thank you so much for coming out. I think you're going to enjoy, be fascinated by what you hear, but I hope when we're done with the formal part of the presentation, you'll help engage in an interesting dialogue, because that's going to be the most fun part of the evening. So at this point, I'd like to introduce Kathleen Ferrier. She is our Director of Advocacy, and if you've ever heard of Vision Zero in San Diego, she's the person that made it happen and has done a lot of other great things as well for our organization. So Kathleen, come on up.
Great. Good evening, everyone. It's nice to be here in Encinitas. You guys have the best library on the planet. It must be the best library on the planet. I was looking at the view of the sunset there tonight. So as Jim mentioned, I'm a staff person for Circulate, and I'm going to just give a brief introduction to our topic tonight, and then introduce our speakers, and then turn it over to them. So you all are aware that we have been experiencing a sea change in transportation for quite some time. When the automobile came about, we went crazy building highways all over our cities to accommodate the car, and some cities put public transit in place 100 years ago, but certainly over the last 3 decades and in the last 10 years for sure, we've been working to expand our transportation choices in cities across the country, and of course for a variety of benefits, from our health to the environment and to the economy. And we like to think at Circulate San Diego, we've been part of that change in San Diego. It's funny to think that 10 years ago, the so-called radical change to transportation was simply introducing walking and bicycling into our everyday lives. And that's not so radical anymore, although it's still challenging, and we're still working on that. But we're also excited about thinking about additional transportation choices. So we're going to be talking about those tonight. And it's interesting because these things keep changing so quickly. Just today, I learned that Lyft now has an option where you can secure a trip in the future. You can have a time certain, a date certain. You know, when Lyft and Uber first started, they were providing trips to just one person. Now they have car, or the commute, right? The Lyft line, for example, so you can get a ride with other people. In San Diego, we had Car2Go just a month ago, and now it's not there. So these things are changing quickly, and it's interesting the dynamic between what the government is offering as far as transportation choices and what the private sector is doing. and how they're intervening. So we're going to be talking about that as well. The widespread growth of self-driving cars and the sharing economy have had a profound impact on transportation. And the goals of companies like Uber and Lyft that I mentioned is to make ride-sharing so inexpensive and convenient that they become more economical than owning a car. These changes have happened so quickly that most governments don't have policies in place to respond, and they're still relying on traditional transportation choices to move people around. New solutions proposed are advertised to reduce congestion and pollution, improve energy use, and promote more safety. We'll be able to turn parking lots back into parks, is what Lyft co-founder John Zimmer wrote in September. We'll be able to shrink streets, expand sidewalks, and make room for more pedestrians. So we're really excited that those things are going to be happening in the future, but there's a long path to get there, and we're not there yet. So what do we know about the changes to date? How is the private sector responding? What is the role of government as these things move forward? What are the benefits of autonomous vehicles? What are the regulations that are put forward now regarding autonomous vehicles? These are all things that we're going to be talking about tonight. So with that, I'm going to introduce our panel of speakers. We're really lucky to have some experts here from the region join us tonight. The first is Kathy Keehan, and she was the director of the San Diego County Bike Coalition for many years and is now an air quality specialist for the San Diego County Air Pollution Control District. She currently serves as a member of the City of San Diego Bicycle Advisory Committee, which is an advisory committee to the City Council, and is a former member of the Rancho Bernardo Planning Board. Her areas of expertise include active transportation planning, incentive and grant funding programs, and community outreach. And certainly bicycling is an important part of today's infrastructure for transportation and in the future. And Kathy is definitely an expert and has been active in this realm in San Diego for a very long time. Next we have Angus Clark. He is operating company Corridor Holdings, has provided hospitality-based EV fast charging to the San Diego Orange County Gateway as well as Santa Barbara area since 2011. Corridor Holdings provides battery energy storage solutions to hotel operators. And in 2014, Mr. Clark's not-for-profit company Corridor Power Inc. won a $500,000 grant from the California Energy Commission to develop full-service, multi-plug, quick-charging hubs based on designs that can be readily and cheaply duplicated while delivering comfort and convenience to the driver. Those are certainly key themes that we have in our society today. Mr. Clark has recently launched Hula Car, an all-electric car share company for hotel guests and resort patrons, offering low-cost, as-needed, zero-emission mobility. So Angus is going to talk to us a little about this and the role of car sharing in our world of transportation choices. Our third speaker is going to be Ray Traynor. He is the Director of Operations with SANDAG, the San Diego Association of Governments, if you're not familiar with that term. He serves on the executive team and focuses on mobility management, toll operations, intelligent transportation systems, demand management, and innovative mobility. In all, I think iCommute program is one of the main responsibilities that he has. And he's really taken the lead for SANDAG in looking at autonomous vehicles, how mobility hubs are going to be working in the region, and he's going to be talking to us about that tonight. I've seen his presentation, it's excellent. Next we have Dana Hook. She is the Vice President with CDM Smith, and she's the Technical Strategy Leader for Urban Mobility in North America for that company. She's a civil engineer and has broad project management experience related to the design, construction management, and preparation of contract documents and third-party coordination for roadway, rail, and transit projects. She has managed extensive projects for clients in Arizona, San Diego, and Seattle. In addition to coordinating the technical design, she brings expertise in forming collaborative groups of stakeholders, regulatory agencies, as well as independent professionals to assess design. So certainly one of the questions that has come up before is, as much as we're excited about these new technologies and new forms of transportation, what will be the role of transit in the future? And I think Dan is going to be able to speak to us about that. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the speakers, and I'm going to allow them to come up and make their presentation in 10 minutes each, and then sit down and move on to the next person, and then after that we'll engage in some question and answers with you guys. Okay.